Hey, what's up? My name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing another very exciting try a chapter video. Because I'm going to be trying the first chapter of 8 different new-ish romance books in an attempt to feel something. It's Valentine's Day time. Why not? Romance is one of my favorite genres in books, but over these last 2 years or so, I've started to gravitate towards romance less and less. You know, usually nowadays I just want to pick up some thrillers, I want to pick up some horror books, but I do still have this burning passion to read romance, and I really enjoy romance books, and I thought it would be fun to try a chapter of some 8 romance books that have caught my eye, that I'm intrigued by, that I'm interested in reading. Some of these are new, some of these are arcs that haven't come out yet, and then while trying a chapter of the new romance books, I thought it would be fun to also try Bang cookies! No, this video is not sponsored by Bang in case you were wondering, but I do have an affiliate link down below because I do think Bang cookies would make the perfect gift for someone on Valentine's Day. Honestly, what is better than a fresh, big cookie? Nothing. Nothing in this world is better than cookies. And they sent me a few different cookies to sample, so I thought it would be fun to, try 2 chapters and then try a cookie and try 2 chapters and try a cookie. You get it, Because cookies do pair very well with books, if I do say so myself. I would love to snack on a cookie while I'm reading. That is the perfect reading snack. But anyways, in case you were wondering, what 8 books do I plan to read the first chapter of for this video? So I have 4 physical books here with me that I want to read the first chapter, and then I have 4 books that are going to be ebooks or audiobooks that I have either, the audiobooks are either checked out from my library or I have them on Libro, or if you didn't know, on the ebook store in the iPhone iBooks store, you can download the first chapter of any book as a sample if you didn't know. So you can get the first chapter of books that you don't actually own, in case you didn't know. Hot tip. But yeah, some of the books I'm going to be trying the first chapter of include The Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. This one comes out April 22nd, so this one's a bit of an arc here. And then I have One Night on the Island by Josie Silver. This one is a brand new release. I'm pretty sure this one just came out in the month of February, and I'm very excited about this one because I have previously really enjoyed One Day in December by this author, so I'm very interested in this one. And look at how cute. Isn't this cover just the cutest thing you've ever seen? And then I do have The Sweetest Remedy, which I think this one is the most backlist one that I have on here because this one came out in September last year, but this is one that I'm hoping to get to this month, and so I thought it would be fun to try the first chapter with you all. This author also did previously write a book called Ties That Tether that I really enjoyed, so this is the second book that I'll be reading from this author. And then also Love and Other Disasters. This is another one that I have on my TBR for the month of February that I'm hoping to get to soon, so I thought, why not read the first chapter with you? And this one I'm excited because it involves a non-binary character that's the love interest in this. So cute. Love to see it. And then on audio, I'm going to be checking out the first chapter for The Roughest Draft. This is one of my most anticipated romances of the year just because it sounds so interesting. And apparently it's about these 2 writers, a guy and a girl that are writers, and then it's also written by 2 writers who are actually engaged in real life. Whoa, crazy. And then I have A Brush with Love, which this one is a romance that wasn't really on my radar, but Libro had it as a ALC this month, an advanced listening copy for an audiobook. So I'm not totally sure if this one's out or not yet, but this one just sounds like it's gonna be cute. I think it involves dentists because, A Brush with Love, I think it's toothpaste and stuff. It just looks really cute. I'm kind of obsessed with this cover, so gonna be checking this one out. And then I have 2 of my most anticipated books of the year, which is Count Your Lucky Stars by Alexandria Bellafleur. This book just came out on February 1st, and this is the 3rd book in the series, but I believe it can be read as a standalone, but the previous 2 books are some of my favorite romance books that I've ever read in my freaking life. So I'm very excited to get a taste of Count Your Lucky Stars. I'm so excited. And then the last book that I'm going to be trying the first chapter of is Weather Girl, which this is another one of my most anticipated romances of the year because this is the same author as The X Talk, and The X Talk is one of my absolute god tier favorite romances. I read it last year publisher. It was life-changing. And so I'm really excited to read Weather Girl. I just think, oh, it's gonna be so cute. And this book, I downloaded the ebook as a sample of the first chapter, but I do have this book currently on the way to me from the publisher, but it didn't get to me in time to film this video, so we're just using the ebook for now. But anyways, I'm very excited to read these first chapters because I'm very excited about these books. I think I am gonna rate it on a scale of 0 to 5 on cuteness level. Every time I've done videos like this in the past, which by the way, if you haven't seen the videos I've done like this before, I've done them for thrillers and horror books, and I sampled wine in both of those videos and they were very fun, so I'll have them linked down below. But I kind of like to include a rating of like the first chapter just based on how intrigued I am and how, you know, invested I was from that first chapter to continue reading. Because I do think that most books, they should be able to grab you right away. Like, I feel like the first chapter is the author's first chance to make you interested, to make you invested in the book, you know? So I think based on that first chapter alone, I should feel something. I should feel slightly invested or curious about the story, and so that's what we're going to be rating it on. And yeah, anyways, I'm going to start with 2 books, and I'll come back and let you know my thoughts, and then we'll try a cookie together. Alright, so the first 2 chapters that I ended up reading were both of the audiobooks just because I'm feeling a little lazy. I wanted to start with the audios. And so the first one that I started with was The Roughest Draft. This is an audiobook that I currently have checked out from my library. So this one, we start with this girl named Katrina, okay? And she's going to this bookstore and she's like trying to stay undercover because apparently she's like this super famous author. But apparently she's known as being a part of this writing duo because she was always an author with her friend Nathan. Like, they were this really popular writing duo, so she's half of the duo. And then the girl that's in the bookstore, like the bookseller, recommends her Nathan's new book, like the guy that she used to write books with. I guess he has his own solo book out now, and the girl recommends it to her, and the girl, like the bookseller, is like, yeah, you know, he actually used to be a part of this writing duo, and like, I really wish they would write another book together, but rumor has it they haven't talked in years, and it's like all dramatic, but it's like the bookseller doesn't know that she's talking to this girl that like is the author in the duo. And so just based on this first chapter, you know, there's this intrigue, right, about like what happened with them and why did they stop writing together, but also I don't think they were ever actually together, you know? I'm thinking that they were just friends who were writing books together and then they stopped talking for some reason. So there's definitely some intrigue there. However, I did look at some Goodreads reviews just like after I finished that first chapter, and apparently some people are really mad that this book involves a lot of emotional cheating and like cheating of different kind of things. And so that's usually like not my thing in a romance book. But just based on that first chapter alone, I would give that first chapter like a 4 out of 5 just because I do enjoy books that follow writers. That's like one of my favorite tropes in any book ever. And then I also, you know, I don't know, I'm intrigued. Like, I want to know why they stopped writing together, you know? Like, I feel like that's an immediate thing that sucks me into the story that I'm like, okay, I mean, I'm invested now, I gotta know. And then I read the first chapter of A Brush with Love, and this one, I just want to say I love that the very start of this book, it includes a content warning in the beginning, and it lets you know, like, there's an on-page panic attack, there's, like, these different things in the book, and I really appreciate when authors do that because I do think it's so important for readers to know what they're getting themselves into, you know, because not everybody's in a place where they want to read about panic attacks, if you know what I'm saying. So I do appreciate when an author will put a content warning at the start of the book. I respect that a whole lot. And so in this book, A Brush with Love, we're following this girl named Harper, and she's working to become a dentist, and she's doing this like oral surgery residency program. That was a mouthful, no pun intended. Her love interest is this guy named Dan, who's also a dental student. And like I said, you know, this first chapter was really cute. It was really unexpected. This book wasn't even on my radar at all. Like, if Libro hadn't shown this book as an ALC this month, I wouldn't have even known that this book existed. But it's cute. Like, I really liked the vibe of the first chapter. It was honestly kind of giving me the vibes of like The Love Hypothesis, just because of the way that they're both in like this grad school kind of situation for dentists, and the academic feel to it just kind of reminded me of The Love Hypothesis. Like, right away, that's the vibe I'm getting. Like, Harper definitely reminds me of the girl in The Love Hypothesis. But yeah, I don't know, it's cute. Like, I don't think I've ever read a romance that involves dentists, so like, that's interesting. I'm intrigued. I'll be here for it. So A Brush with Love, just based on that first chapter, I would probably give it, you know, a 4 out of 5 on the intrigue. Like, I think it's cute. I want to read it. All right, and now it's time to try our first cookie. I just randomly pulled one out of the box. This is the triple chocolate chunk. Looks very yum. I've received a box of cookies from them before, and I've tried a few of their cookies, but I can't remember which ones that I've tried except for the s'mores. I remember the s'mores. And so, holy crap, like, do you see how freaking thick these cookies are? Like, holy cow. Dude, that shit is fucking good. This is way softer than I was expecting it to be. Like, I thought I would get a really good crunch in there, but no, this is soft. And I am such a fan of chocolate. I have the biggest sweet tooth on this planet. I will eat anything chocolate, and so this really speaks to me. All right, now on to the next two books, and then I will come back to you. The next book that I read the first chapter of is Count Your Lucky Stars, because I just couldn't wait, okay? I was gonna save my most anticipated for the end, but I just couldn't wait a second longer. I just wanted to dive in. And if you didn't know, this is the third book in a series, like I said, but it follows like the same group of friends, and it's one of those series where you can read the books as standalones. But in this book, it's a female-female romance, okay? It's so cute. This book also takes place in Seattle, just like the first two books in the series. And in this book, like, the first chapter opens with some things happening with Brandon, who was the guy that was like the love interest in the last book. So like, very exciting to already see the characters that I already love and know. And then we have this girl named Olivia, who's the protagonist, and she like recognizes Margot's name, and she wonders like, oh my god, is that the same Margot that I know, that I like went to school with? And then if you didn't know, Margot, she's the love interest in this book. She's actually Elle's roommate from the first book, Written in the Stars. Elle and Darcy are the couple that's in the first book in this series, and then Elle has this roommate named Margot. She's the one in this book. And Margot and Elle also run the company of like Oh My Stars together, like the cute little astrology company that they have in this series. And so Margot starts talking about how she's starting to feel like the fifth wheel all the time with her friends, you know, because she's friends with Elle and Darcy, who are together, and then Brandon and Annie, who are together, and she's just always feeling like she's the fifth wheel. She has this quote where it says, Margot couldn't help but feel like her friends were all forming a club and she wasn't invited, not unless she brought a +1. And like, holy shit, dude, if I don't feel this in my soul. Like, I just find that to be so relatable, especially to me right now. Like, I feel like I've had 3 of my close friends get engaged in the last 6 months. Like, it feels like everybody's at that point in their life where like everybody needs a +1. And so I just felt that in my soul, you know. I was like, Margot's just so relatable right now. And then, you know, we find out that these girls, Olivia and Margot, they haven't seen each other in 11 years. Like, oh my gosh, we're talking a decade, okay? A decade has gone by, they haven't seen each other. And apparently, I didn't realize this when I started it, but apparently it's a second chance romance. These girls were like together in high school. Like, they had something, they had a fling, they had something going on in high school, and then apparently, I mean, I guess it didn't end up working out, and now this is their first time seeing each other again in 11 years. After this like high school passionate romance. Like, I don't know, but I'm excited because, you know, usually I don't really enjoy second chance romances very much. Like, it's not usually like my favorite #1 jam. Also, I don't think I've ever read a second chance romance that's a female-female romance. Like, I'm just so intrigued. And not only that, but I absolutely love Margot's character already. Like, she is just speaking directly to my soul. She's so relatable. I love that this series feels very, you know, inspired by astrology and astronomy, and it's in Seattle. Like, there's just so many things that I love about this series. I already ordered this book right now off of Amazon. I was like, I need that shit delivered to my door within 2 days. Count Your Lucky Stars is easily gonna get a 5 out of 5 from me on the intrigue. I mean, shit, I just ordered this book after that first chapter. Like, is that not a big enough sign that it's a 5 out of 5 for me? And then the next book that I read the first chapter of is The Sweetest Remedy. And this one, we're following this woman named Hannah, who's half Nigerian and half white. And she mentions Ryan Gosling on the very first page, so we're off to a great start. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I need. This one also takes place in San Francisco, which is really freaking cool. I love when a book takes place in a city that I'm just fascinated by, because it just makes me, it's just the vibe, you know, like I'm here for the vibes. And so this book starts with her being at this event with her friend, and this freaking white boy, you know, is coming up to her and he's trying to flirt with her, and he's like, what's your ethnicity? And just being like really freaking obnoxious. And so she kind of ditches him pretty quick, and shortly after she meets this other man named Lawrence, and they have this like immediate connection, you know, that feels very right. But then he gets an emergency phone call and he has to like leave very urgently, and so she's kind of like upset because it's almost like this moment that they could have shared together, and now he's leaving, and it's like, what? And then the first chapter ends with her mom calling her and being like, hey, you need to come home now. It's something about your dad. And she like doesn't know what that means, like what is going on with her dad. And I think this first chapter was very intriguing. You know, I liked the moment that she had with this man named Lawrence. I liked the intrigue of like what's going on with her dad, like what is happening. So I would give that like a 4 out of 5, you know, it's intriguing. All right, on to try the next cookie. This one is Oatmeal Raisin. I don't know about you, but I do enjoy an oatmeal raisin cookie, okay? I'm not the biggest fan of raisins, to be honest, but in an oatmeal raisin cookie, it's kind of my jam. Like, this is beautiful, this is stunning. It's so thick, oh my god. Yes. I'm always nervous about oatmeal cookies, you know, because I feel like you can either do an oatmeal cookie right, or you can do it wrong. You know, like you can do an oatmeal cookie so dirty. But this shit is fantastic. Oh my god, it's so soft. I'm amazed at how like big and thick these cookies are, but how soft they still are. Because you would think that this shit would be like thick and crunchy and just like dry, but it's really moist. Like, sorry, I know people hate that word, but what better word is there to describe something that is moist? All right, on to the next books. So I read the first chapter of Love and Other Disasters. This one is super cute so far. We're following this woman named Dahlia, I think that's how you say it, Dahlia, and she's recently divorced, and so she's going on this cooking show that's called Chef's Special. And then she really like awkwardly runs into this other person who I'm assuming is the love interest in this, because she describes them as having like strawberry blonde hair. I think it's so funny that in most romance books that I read, I feel like the love interest, the way they describe their eyes, it always has to have like, they have flecks of gold in their eyes. Like, people can never just have like normal like brown or green eyes or whatever. It has to be like they have brown eyes with flecks of gold in them. Like, I feel like I see that in every single romance book, and it's like, I get it, you know, like I do get what they mean, right? Because sometimes you see people that have like brown or green eyes and you can just see like these little flecks of gold in there. But I just think it's so funny that in every romance novel I read, the characters have that. But I always fall for it every time, you know. I'm like, wow, they have flecks of gold, like beautiful. I don't know, I'm getting really good energy and really good vibes from this book so far. Like, it feels like it's gonna be a fun time. Just in that first chapter, they already began the first like cooking competition in this cooking show, and it just, it immediately grabbed my attention because I'm like, I freaking love cooking shows. I'm one of those bitches that can watch an entire season of Hell's Kitchen in like one day because I'm just fascinated by it. I love watching those shows when like Gordon Ramsay's just like yelling at people in the kitchen, or the like baking shows where they have to like bake something in like 45 minutes or less, and then they're just like frantically running around the kitchen. Like, that is my shit. I love watching that shit. And so this is already like so entertaining to me. I'm loving it, you know? And then this first chapter ends in the most fun way because she takes her food to go to like the table with the judges, and she fucking falls and eats shit on the way to the table. How embarrassing. I've watched a lot of cooking shows, you know, in my lifetime, and I don't think I've ever seen a person trip and eat shit and drop all the food that they just made. I mean, I'm sure it's probably happened, you know? Like, how has it not have ever happened? But I don't think it ever makes it to air, but it's just, oh my god, it's just so funny. Like, it was such a cute moment. And so yeah, this is gonna get a 5 out of 5 from me on the intrigue scale. I really loved that first chapter. I'm already getting a feel for the characters, and it seems like the second chapter is gonna be told from London's point of view, who's the non-binary character in the book, so I like that we're gonna get their point of view as well. But like, cute. I have high hopes, you know? I'm hoping that I love this one. And then I read the first chapter of One Night on the Island. This first chapter was actually kind of short. It was only 8 pages long, so didn't get too much of the vibe from this one yet. But this one, we're following this protagonist, and her name is Cleo, and she's about to turn 30 in a few weeks, and she's kind of going through it, you know? She is not feeling the vibe of turning 30. And so her boss is trying to like send her to this island to like marry herself, and I can't tell for the life of me if this is like a serious thing, like she's actually trying to marry herself, or if this is just like a joke. Writes this online column called Finding My Flamingo because flamingos mate for life. And so I guess her column is about like her love journey. I'm assuming that's what it would be about. But yeah, they want to send her to this cabin in Ireland by herself to celebrate her 30th birthday alone, you know, just like take some time for herself, and all expenses are going to be paid on this trip. Like, what the heck? Sign me up to work for this company. This sounds rad. And I guess the whole idea of like her marrying herself, they said it's something that Emma Watson did or something, and that they admire her independence. Like they're talking about Emma Watson and how cool she is because she's so independent. I don't know, that's kind of like all that happens within the first chapter, but just by reading this on the back, I see that it says one cottage, two strangers, the start of a great love story. And so I'm thinking it's about how she goes to this, you know, remote cabin in Ireland, and then the place gets double booked or something like that, right? And then there's a guy that has to stay there too, and then they're both staying there together, I think. And that just kind of sounds like my ideal romance setup. Like I love a good forced proximity kind of romance trope. Like I love that. Even better if there's only one bed, like, oh, that's my favorite shit, you know what I mean? So like, I'm intrigued by this. Like I honestly immediately want to pick this up and continue reading just because I'm so curious to see where it's gonna go. I also think it's kind of cute because the chapter titles have like some cute, unique chapter titles. Like, I don't know, I really enjoy when books have like really random and really cute chapter titles. It's not just like chapter 2, it's like something unique, you know? So yeah, this is gonna get a 5 out of 5 for me. I immediately want to pick this up. I'm adding it to my February TBR, okay? Cool. All right, shall we try another cookie together? Yes. Let's see, this one is a caramel sea salt chocolate cookie. I believe this is one of the ones that I tried the last time that they sent me cookies. Having sea salt in cookies is such a unique thing that I don't know if I enjoy or not. Like I feel like I haven't tried enough of it to know if it's something that I enjoy or not. But yeah, this is another huge, massive, thick size cookie, so let's give it a whirl. Oh my god. I wasn't sure where the caramel was gonna come in, but there's just this like gooey caramel like in the middle of this cookie. That's incredible. Wow, that's so good. I feel like this one's actually the softest cookie of them all yet. Like that was so moist. I'm gonna say it again, I'm sorry. I gotta go back in. I do like the salt on this one. It's like, it's not too much, you know, because sometimes I think the idea of salt with cookies, it can be a little too aggressive for me sometimes. But this is like, it's good, you know, it's chewy. It's just got that very subtle salt flavor to it. And I just noticed too on here, it says stuffed. So I think that means that it's like stuffed with caramel. I need to take a water break. Oh. All right, I'm going to read the last 2 chapters and I'll get back to you. What's up? I've read all of the first chapters. So I read the first chapter of The Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. And in this book, we're following this main protagonist named Solange. I believe I'm saying that right. I even looked up the pronunciation and everything. Solange. She is the protagonist and she's helping with her cousin with like her wedding planning thing that's going on. She basically catches the bride cheating. I'm pretty sure this is like moments before the wedding is about to happen. And she overhears the bride like talking to this other dude being like, let's fucking run away together, like let's be in love. And she just overhears this conversation that's like very uncomfortable and she's like, what the heck? And then she bumps into this man who I believe is the love interest in this book, and I believe that he's the groom at the wedding that she's like helping out with right now. And I just had to read you this because I find this absolutely hilarious. She's basically imagining like his body parts talking to each other. I find this very confusing but also very entertaining. She says, he's off the charts handsome, so much so that I imagine his facial features competing daily for the title of best body part. You're no match for me, his plump lips say to his strong jaw. The hell I'm not, his jaw retorts. Everyone knows I'm fucking irresistible when the big guy strokes me. Pipe down, you two, his hazel eyes tell them. When we gaze at a woman for longer than 3 seconds, she's a goner. There's a tiny patch of scarred skin above his left eyebrow. It's the money shot, the basketball kind, that is, and it adds a hint of mystery to his impeccable appearance. People dig me the most, though, the scar boats in a seductive tone, because it suggests he spends his days poring over spreadsheets and his nights kicking ass in a dingy boxing gym. I don't know how I feel about his body parts talking to each other and us reading the dialogue of that. That was a little cringe for me, a little cheese. And so the first chapter just basically ends with her, you know, meeting the groom. She's kind of drooling over him because apparently he's very attractive, and then she says that she's cursed because she has to watch this groom marry this bride who was just talking about cheating on him, and she just doesn't feel right about it. And so looking on the back of this, it's saying that it's a rom-com about two strangers who get trapped in a lie and have to fake date their way out of it. So like, I don't really know what I expect to happen here. I mean, it's called The Wedding Crasher, right? So like, clearly she's gonna crash this fucking wedding, right? I'm just kind of curious about how this turns into a fake dating scenario. But either way, you know, I don't know. Based on that first chapter, just on that writing style alone, I'm gonna have to give it like a 3 out of 5. It's probably my least favorite first chapter that I read in this video just because of the cringiness and the cheesiness of the whole like his lips talking to his eyes. Like, I could have done without that. But also because this involves the fake dating trope, I'm still interested in reading it. You know, I do love the fake dating trope, and I'll most likely read any book that has the fake dating trope just because I love it so much. And then the last first chapter that I read was for Weather Girl, which, like, once again, can I just say, one of my most anticipated books of the year. I saved the best for last. Once again, I just want to say I appreciate that this book starts with an author's note from the author kind of talking about, you know, how this book deals with depression and how depression can look different for different people, and that that's okay. Like, I really appreciate when books start with this kind of thing. You know, I appreciate a content warning. And then the first little like chapter in this book is called Cloudy with a Chance of Public Humiliation. Like, oh, how cute is that? Okay, I love Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, okay, one of my favorite books as a kid, and so I love that it's already like making a play on words with that title. I obviously realized from the cover and the title of this book that it was going to involve like weather in some way, you know, but I didn't realize it was going to involve this girl who's like working for the weather, you know, at a news station. Like, I just think that's so cool, that's so fun. There's this quote that I love that I really relate to when she says, "There's something especially lovely about an overcast day, clouds dipped in ink, the sky ready to crack open. Sometimes I think I could live in those moments forever." And like, same, bitch. Why do you think I moved to Washington? No, but all jokes aside, I live for the rainy, gloomy, foggy days. Like, that is 100% my vibe that I'm here for. I love that this one takes place in Seattle too, kind of like the X-Talk. I feel like a lot of my favorite romance series lately, I've noticed, take place in Seattle. It's just so cool, you know, it matches the vibe of where I'm at, you know, I'm in Washington too. And yeah, there's like this cute moment in this book where her and her brother, they're like, he's like driving her home and they pull over and see her first billboard on like the side of the freeway, I think. And it's like cute, you know, because she's like the weather girl for this like news channel and she's got her own billboard and shit. I also love that Ari is our main character, and then she has this brother named Alex who has a husband. So we love to see that. But apparently Ari, she was engaged to this guy named Garrison, but they split up 5 weeks ago. So she's kind of dealing with this very fresh breakup, you know, that's like very recent for her. And I think it's so cute that they're Jewish. I feel like that's not representation that I see a ton of in romance books. So I appreciate the Jewish representation. And I don't know, I mean, so far I'm already loving this book. I would give that first chapter a 5 out of freaking 5 because I adore this author. I love the way that she writes her characters. I love the way that she like writes her stories. They're just very relatable and I just immediately connect to them. That's the same thing that I had with the X-Talk, is that I just immediately found it relatable, immediately wanted to continue reading. I'm really like, I just can't wait to read this one. It's so cute. And I've also like recently been talking about how I love reading books where there's kind of like somebody that works for a news station. And so like, she's the weather girl, you know, like she works at a news station. I think that's a super fun job to read about. And I don't think I've ever read a book that's specifically about a character who like loves weather so much. So I just think it's gonna be a really interesting subject matter. I don't actually know, like I can't remember based on the premise, like what her love interest does or if he also works at the station. Like, I don't know. But regardless, I'm excited to read it. So hyped. I can't wait. Yeah, let's try the final cookie from Bang, shall we? They did send me a s'mores cookie, which this one, the last time that I tried these cookies, this one was my favorite, okay? Because this one is phenomenal. I don't know if you can see through this bag here, but it has these like graham crackers on it and marshmallows like in it, and there's like chocolate. It is just absolutely delicious. Like, so this is one that I highly recommend, 10 out of 10. I don't want to try it again though, because this was one that I already know that I love. And I just noticed in there that they sent me this one that says espresso. What the heck? I've never even heard of a cookie that's espresso. Oh my god. What? Dude, it smells like coffee. I am shook. Is this gonna keep me up all night? We'll see. Whoa, my mouth was not prepared for this. If you enjoy Java chip ice cream, this is for you. This is so interesting. It's literally, it tastes like Java chip. It actually does taste like espresso. I wasn't sure if it would be fake news or not, you know, but it's not fake news. It does taste like espresso. I'm so fascinated by like what is in this, you know, like I don't know what these little white things are. I'm assuming that's like little white chocolate chips maybe, but like shit, that is fresh. If you are looking to get some bang cookies for Valentine's Day or any time of the year, honestly, but especially Valentine's Day because cookies and romance, chef's kiss. I would definitely recommend the s'mores is still my favorite, I think, out of all of them, but also this sea salt caramel chocolate chip one. This is pretty fire as well. So these are definitely my two personal faves, but I don't think you can go wrong with any of these because they're all just so chewy and delicious. They're such big cookies. I can't even deal with like the size of this. Like I don't think I could even eat these in one sitting. That's how big they are. Thank you so much to Bang for sending me these cookies, and once again my affiliate link will be down below. If you use the link down below, I make a small commission on the sale, just so you know. I think the ones that I'm most personally excited to read are Weather Girl and Count Your Lucky Stars, which, you know, no surprises here because I previously gave 5 stars to these authors' previous books. So like, of course it would make sense that I'm intrigued once again. Like I want to continue reading once again. But also like, I don't know, I'm really excited for a lot of different things. Like these 3 books are also super intriguing and I'm planning on getting to all 3 of these in the month of February. I'm actually hoping to do a romance reading vlog shortly after I finish up the current reading vlog that I'm working on because I would love to get to some romance, especially during the week of Valentine's Day. It just feels right. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you plan to read any of these romance books, or let me know if you have read these romance books. Let me know what you think of them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye.